Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Brendan Rodgers is more likely to become the new Manchester United manager than Zinedine Zidane. Brendan Rodgers has been house hunting in Cheshire. Brendan Rodgers is the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Sorry about that. Just something came on screen. The Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Manchester United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause if Solskjaer gets sacked. And apparently Brendan Rodgers has already verbally agreed to become Manchester United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season, because Rodgers is reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. Manchester United are confident that Brendan Rodgers will be their next manager. Should Brendan Rodgers replace Solskjaer? If Rodgers came to Manchester United, would he get the best out of these group of players? Would he get us back to that level where we should be at? And would he be capable of winning trophies at Manchester United? Well, Rodgers is a far superior manager to Solskjaer. You've got to admire what Rodgers has done at Leicester. So far at Leicester he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup, and he's been Leicester manager for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. Now, Zinedine Zidane, I give you the news on him earlier on today. The Sunday Times said that Manchester United step up their effort for Zinedine Zidane to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the club hopes that Zinedine Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane can convince him to join. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer. You've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies at Real Madrid, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. But Zidane has not managed in the Premier League yet, so it will be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. If he comes to the Premier League, will he replicate what he did at Real Madrid? He did say though before that Zidane wasn't interested in the Manchester United job, and he was currently enjoying life away from football management. Reports from Spain did say not so long ago that Zidane rejected the Newcastle job as he's waiting for the Man United or France job. My preference would be Zidane over Brendan Rodgers. Pochettino, I give you the news on him earlier on today. Pochettino to Manchester United is a possibility. I'm not going to disregard it, because it says Pochettino will consider a return to the Premier League when he leaves PSG. Pochettino has a full season left on his PSG contract. Man United tried to get Pochettino when he was managerless. Pochettino held talks and that with the club. And I do think Pochettino is a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. He did very, very well in his 5.5 years at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. And back in 2018, Pochettino guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And I think Tottenham made a big mistake sacking Pochettino, like I've mentioned before. Erik Ten Hag, he's been spoken about. You've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's won a few trophies at Ajax and he's been Ajax manager for 4 years. He said not so long ago, though, that Erik Ten Hag is reluctant to leave Ajax. And Ralf Rangnick, he's been spoken about a lot. Fabrizio Romano recently gave us an update on him. And he said that Manchester United turned down Ralf Rangnick. There's been rumours of Ralf Rangnick coming in as the interim manager until the end of the season. In regards to Solskjaer, he will be in charge for the game against Watford after this international break. So reflecting on that, Solskjaer's job is safe for now. But I think one more defeat should end Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Manchester United. Like I updated you yesterday, Duncan Castles came out and said that senior stars want Solskjaer sacked. Because quite clearly the players are not playing for the manager. And Danny Mills said yesterday that Solskjaer commits a sackable offence in Man United training, and our senior players agreed that Solskjaer committed a sackable offence. Obviously Solskjaer's tactics and his team selections have been questioned quite a lot. Last week, he did say that Solskjaer is waiting to be sacked after leaving Manchester. Last Monday, he flew back home to Norway with his family. But Solskjaer is under serious pressure at Manchester United following back-to-back home defeats to City and Liverpool, and Man United have only won one of their last 6 Premier League games, and Man United at the moment are currently sitting 6th in the Premier League. But Solskjaer, he's losing the players and he's also losing the fans' support. Solskjaer should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. If we'd have sacked him after that 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. After the defeat to Liverpool, it did say that Solskjaer had been given 3 games to save his job. He only won one of them 3 games. Obviously beat Tottenham 3-0, drew 2-2 against Atalanta and lost 2-0 to Man City last weekend. Manchester United must pay Solskjaer $7.5 million when they sack him, because in the summer Solskjaer signed a new 3-year contract with an option of a further year, and Man United made a mistake giving him that contract, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. There's a lot of United fans that have turned around and said that, if Solskjaer really cared about the club, he would resign. If he did resign, that'd be the right thing to do, but we know he's not going to resign because he doesn't get paid anything if he resigns. And plus, after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, he refused to resign. But the club, from top to bottom, at this moment in time, is in a predicament. And the way to get out of this predicament is to get a change of manager, plus structural changes are needed at the club. The expectations are far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager. So he's not capable of winning trophies as Man United manager. He's not yet won a trophy as manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And Solskjaer's in a position that he shouldn't be in. I hate to say this regarding Ollie, but I'm just being realistic. You know, he's been Manchester United manager now for almost 3 years. You know, we all adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. Solskjaer is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. You know what? Solskjaer had a proven pedigree when he was a player for Man United because he won a lot of trophies as a player. But unfortunately, he has no proven pedigree as a manager, and that is definitely a concern. But reflecting on our poor performances, you can't just put all the blame on Ollie. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, plus a difficult job as well. At the end of the day, Ollie is managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. And you know, Manchester United should be doing far, far better because Man United have got a very good squad. It's a title winning squad, so in reality Manchester United should be winning the Premier League this season, or at least competing for the league. Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. Spent around £141 million. Yeah, we made 4 signings, 3 of them were major signings. And the board backed Solskjaer well in the summer transfer window this year, and they still continue to back him now. You know, the Glazers are backing him, Woodward's backing him, John Murtough's backed him, and Darren Fletcher's backed him. So reflecting on all of that, you know, Solskjaer has no more excuses. He ran out of excuses a while ago. Revert back to what I've said before. Ollie is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. Because Man United have sacked 3 managers since Ferguson, sacked David Moyes, sacked Louis van Gaal and sacked Jose Mourinho. We haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. No one is going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. You know, Ferguson won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. So reflecting on that, Ferguson brought success to Manchester United, but Fergie didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. So that just shows you that it takes some managers time to settle in. Ferguson enjoyed a 27-year managerial tenure at Man United, so he was a very long-serving manager. Manchester United are going to offload players next year. I do think that Paul Pogba is going next year because it said not so long ago that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it's better to offload him in January and cash in for him rather than let him go on a free transfer next summer. Well, Paul Pogba may never play for Manchester United again because Pogba's going to miss the rest of 2021 because last Monday Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba has got one game to serve in the league at the 3-match ban he got. If you do remember rightly, Pogba got sent off for the two-footed challenge on Naby Keita in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Pogba though did play in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta, and he was very poor in that game, and reflecting on that poor performance he produced, he got heavily criticised. Reports from France said the other day, like he updated you though, that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United, but reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So he wants to overtake Cristiano Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract, and Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba did endure a good start to the Premier League season. So far this season in the league he's got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while, and he has sustained some ankle injuries as well at Manchester United since he re-signed. He's had a long running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked to Real Madrid. His former club Juventus have been in for him. He did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. It did say earlier on this season that Pogba was offered to Barcelona, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Pogba's agent Mino Raiola though for quite a while now has been working hard to get his client a move away from Manchester United. Man United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment, and this season is Pogba's 6th season at the club since he re-signed, and he's won 3 trophies at the club so far. I think Lingard is going next year. I've been hearing rumours that Man United could be offloading Lingard for just £10 million. Obviously, in this year's summer transfer window, we wanted around £25 million for Lingard, and West Ham were struggling to meet that asking price. We need to cash in for Lingard in January, because Lingard's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Well, earlier on this season it said Lingard rejected a new Man United contract offer because of 2 players. ESPN actually said earlier on this season that Lingard was a target for Barcelona and AC Milan. Last season though, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham, so he made an impact. Lingard doesn't really get in the team like I've said before. He's made a few appearances this season, but like I said, Lingard's been part of the club for a long time. Ollie did mention earlier on this season that he wants Lingard to stay. Donny van der Beek, I can assure he will be leaving in January, because Van der Beek is not getting enough game time at Manchester United. So reflecting on that, I haven't had much of a perception on him, but overall he is a good player. Solskjaer should be starting Van der Beek, especially in the Premier League. Van der Beek came on in the 2-0 defeat to Man City, and to his credit he made an impact, and he came on in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta and made an impact, so that just proves how good he can be. Prior to the Liverpool game, Solskjaer did admit that Van der Beek is frustrated and disappointed over his situation at Old Trafford, and earlier on this season it did mention that Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer. And earlier on this season, Van der Beek told Solskjaer his best position. He reckons he'd be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8. And at one point, Van der Beek spoke about his Man United future in an exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand. Van der Beek's endured a difficult, 18 and a half, 19 months at Man United. This season is Van der Beek's second full season at the club. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. He's got an option of a further year. Man United got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million, with add-ons included, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. There's many clubs that have been in for him, but I'm hearing that Newcastle really want Van der Beek. Nemanja Matic, I think he's going to be going next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities, and surprisingly enough, Matic is ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. I think Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder we've got. Man United need a centre defensive midfielder in January. But I've always had my reservations about Matic, even though he has had his good games at Man United. Matic has been at the club for 4.5 years now. We got Matic in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. I think before the start of last season he signed a new 3-year contract. Martial, I think he's leaving the club next year. Martial doesn't really get in the team. Plus, he's too inconsistent. He's only enjoyed one good season at the club, and that was his debut season under Van Gaal. And not so long ago, Martial came back from injury. Last season, Martial was out with an injury for a while. He did say before the start of this season that Solskjaer refused to sell Martial, as he remains part of his plan. Solskjaer does have quite a lot of trustworthy in Martial. That explains why Ollie gave him that number 9 shirt. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. We got him in a deal worth 57 or 58 million from Monaco back in 2015. Cavani, I think he's also leaving next year as well. But I can't say I want him to leave. Look at the impact he's made since he's come in. Cavani's actually out with injury now until December. He had an injury earlier on this season. Cavani's got under a year left now on his Man United contract. Back in May, he signed that 1-year contract extension. I think this season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. We did get Cavani on a free transfer from PSG, but Cavani, has got a very good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG, and he was a long-serving player as well when he was at PSG. Juan Mata, I think he's going next year. Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Earlier on this year, Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended Mata's contract for the further year, because Mata doesn't even get in the team, does he? And plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But I do think he's a good player overall. I think he's had a very, very good career at Man United. Mata's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. Being a long-serving player at Man United, he's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years. At the first part of last season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. And we got Mata under the David Moyes era. We got him for 40 million from Chelsea, and that was back in 2014. Telles, I think he's going next year. He may not go, but I think he will, because Telles doesn't really get in the team, does he? Hasn't played a lot for Man United, but in the game, some of the games, he has played and he has been consistent. Telles will only get his opportunities when Luke Shaw's not available. Telles was out with injury earlier on this season. The reason we brought Telles in, though, was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. Got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto last year. Telles obviously came on to replace Shaw in the 2-0 defeat to Man City because Shaw went off with injury. Telles nearly conceded a penalty against Man City. He just got the ball though, so it was the correct decision not to give a penalty. Dalot, I think he's going next year as well, because Dalot doesn't get in the team, does he? He's our backup right back to Bissaka. Dalot will only play when Bissaka's not available. In some of the games Dalot though has been involved in, I think he has done quite well to his credit. Last season Dalot was out on loan with AC Milan, so reflecting on that again, some experience. We got Dalot 3 years ago from Porto. We paid around 19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. I do think Jones and Bailly are both going next year as well, and I think Man United will loan Dean Henderson out, because obviously Dean Henderson doesn't get his opportunities, because as you all know, De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back. Henderson's only been in goal for one game so far this season, and that was the game against West Ham in the Cup. But at one point Henderson was out with COVID for a while. So there you go. There is inconsistent players at Manchester United. You know, I don't think Lindelof's good enough to represent the club. I wanted to offload him next year, but I've heard no rumours of him leaving as yet. Maguire is also poor. You know, he's been very, very poor this season. But Maguire, you know, can be a good player. He just hasn't proven that this season. You know, Shaw overall is a good player, but Shaw, you know, has been very, very poor this season. You've got Fred. He's not good enough to represent the club either. We need to offload him next year, but I've heard no rumours of him leaving as yet. You know, he has been subjected to transfer speculation before, obviously. Man United overpaid for Fred, got him in a deal worth 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. I think McTominay is inconsistent as well, even though he has had his good games at Manchester United. Fred and McTominay do play a hell of a lot of games together, and a lot of United fans have had a go at Solskjaer for him persistently selecting Fred and McTominay in the centre midfield. You know, Lingard, he's another one, not good enough to represent the club, but like I said earlier, he doesn't really get in the team anyway. You know, Martial, he's not good enough to represent the club. So there you go. But these a lot of good players at Manchester United. But like I've said before, the reason we're not getting the best out of a lot of the players is because we're not playing as an actual team. We're a team of individuals, like a lot of pundits have spoken about. You know, if we played as a team, we'd be up there competing with the likes of City, Liverpool and Chelsea. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon.